on Raw is going to be on SmackDown and vice versa, and then all of a sudden, oh, now we got this wild card thing where now two guys can go across to the other show, and there's just no consistency. Like just keep some consistency. You know, let's don't. If to me it feels like you're just grabbing stuff and you're throwing it at the wall and you're seeing what sticks, and it's just. It leaves no consistency in your storytelling. There's none.
You mentioned the draft. Okay. The draft started in 2001 after WWE bought their competition, WCW. So, this happened after WrestleMania, I believe. The next night, the first draft, I believe. Mr. X had a point before we hit air. Raw, since it's a 3-hour show, compared to a 2-hour show for SmackDown, they always pick first in the round of the draft, and they get 3 choices versus 2 for SmackDown. Well, that means that they're going to get the better picks, quote, quote, and they're going to get more of them.
Yeah, and they're going to get the worst pick of that round, but which is actually the better pick than the next pick in the next round, which they get anyway.
So they always get back to back.
Yeah,
and SmackDown never does.
It's ridiculous.
Yep.
I mean, it's not set up. I mean, it's that even that is not set up properly. It's dumb.
Because you mentioned about if you take a tag team, that's only 1 pick. Well, that's 2 people or 3 people. So
if you're gonna make a legit draft, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna go 1 for 1, and what you're gonna do is if you're gonna quote unquote make it where okay, this match between this Raw guy and this SmackDown, and the person who wins their show gets 8. Fine, I'm for that. Okay, book it. The Raw guy wins, Raw picks first, then SmackDown picks. Then you come out again, and then if you want to do that again, and then SmackDown wins and Raw pick, you pick 1 guy only. That's it. And then at the end, Raw can pick whatever extra to fill out whatever. But they gotta be 1 up for 1 up fair. That is the correct way that you would do it if it was legitimate, which it's not. But let's even have the illusion of it being legitimate.
Sure.
You know, so.
And kind of a pet peeve of mine. You see it, and again, all this stuff we're talking about is basically relatively new from, well, basically since Vince said it's not wrestling anymore, it's sports entertainment in 89. Basically, if you watch any stuff from, say, 88 and below and back, you're not going to see any of these problems we're talking about here. Or very, very, very rarely, if at all. Playing the music, if you're going to have a guy running in to interfere in a match or even just to come out or whatever, why they got to play that person's music? Guy or gal, why you got to play the music? If it's supposed to be a run-in, why are you notifying, hey, we're going to play the music, and yet...
Oh, hey, Steve Austin's coming down to the ring.
But yet, the person is still surprised that, oh, they're coming in the ring.
Yeah.
If they hear that, why don't they go outside, get a chair? Why don't they go outside and or just leave? Why are they waiting for them? And then when they get there, oh, I didn't know he was coming, even though I heard the music. Come on, people.
Yeah.
Come on. We can't be that stupid here.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. Got anything else to add to this topic, storyline?
There's so many things that I see every once in a while, but just pretty much just don't do dumb stuff. Like, if it can happen in real life, it's just stupid stuff. Like, again, like stuff like I said, like you go to the top rope. How long is it gonna? You put the guy down on a mat, so he's laying prone. You're gonna go from there, look around to the crowd, walk to the turnbuckle. Step out between the top and middle rope. Climb to the top rope slowly. Get up there, pose to the crowd, then jump off. And then land a move. Or miss a move, either way. But here's the thing. While the person was laying prone in the ring for, 15 seconds for you to get up there and jump off, you couldn't just pin him? In that time? I don't know. I don't know.
Agreed. Which leads me, again, you're the king today about the segues here. Last topic, officiating. Again, we've seen it. We're old school people. We've been watching a lot of old wrestling on videotapes we have and DVDs and everything else and YouTubes and everything else. And you're not seeing this back in the 80s or whatever. Officiating. Okay, the referee's in there for a reason. Now, I will say this. Back when they had athletic commissions for state, the referees had to legitimately be sanctioned by the athletic commissions.
The official has to call it like an official. Otherwise, you undermine the entire story. Like I said, like if, just to give you an example, like that thing you said about hating the music. Like, let's say we have I don't know, just any two random guys. Let's say during the Conor McGregor Khabib Nurmagomedov fight, right? They're fighting in a cage, and all of a sudden, Tony Ferguson's music hits, and he starts running out to the cage. You think he's gonna get into the cage? You think if he actually is stupid enough to try and get involved in a fight where he's not involved and not getting paid and whatever, you think that he's going to reach the cage? No, security's going to stop him. And even if he somehow managed to get into the cage, what would the referee immediately do? Once he gets,
he's going to call a fight. Fights off.
Fights off.
Because you got somebody coming into a fight that is not part of it.
Yeah. Same thing here. If I hate to go back to this thing, but we were supposed to have a main event, SmackDown, Roman Reigns and Uso against Otis and Owens, and they come on. Roman Reigns is not up there. Referee starts the match. So is it a handicap match? I guess, right? But then, so if it's a handicap match, once Roman Reigns comes running on and gets in the ring without a tag too, and puts his hands on the guy, the match should be thrown on immediately right there. So I'm just saying.
And if it's not a handicap match, then they need to make it clear.
Yes. Okay, but anyway.
No. This is good stuff.
But yeah, there's a number of things that the referees do all the time that we see that they got it enforced.
Sure. We mentioned earlier punches. You see this so often.
Punches are against the rules,
and you see the ref kind of get in their face. Well, here's the thing. I say one time, warning. The next punch, they should be DQ'd because. Yep. If the officials are not allowed to enforce the rules, then why are they there?
Now, if you're a slick bad guy and you do it behind a referee's back, and then you can get away with it. Now the other guy goes down because you punched him in the face. Then that makes sense. But yeah, you can't do it in front of the official.
But if the official sees it,
yeah,
we're talking specifically about punches right now.
Yeah, punches. Yeah,
he's got to call for a disqualification because. Here's the thing, in the UFC, eye pokes are a big thing.
Yeah.
Well,
holding the shorts, any infractions, or grabbing the cage, any of those things, you do it, then they warn you. They'll take points. They'll disqualify you if you do it. John Jones lost the fight that way to Matt Hamill. He was doing the 12-6. I mean, it's a stupid rule, but it's a rule, and they enforce it.
Oh, the elbow. Yeah.
That's John Jones lost to Matt Hamill right there. DQ.
And we've seen low blows in the UFC. They happen because, things happen. But it's a real fight, and they've stopped the fights, or they've disqualified the other person or taken a point away. Well, if wrestling is supposed to be athletic competition or a quote-unquote fight, why ain't it happening? Punch are illegal. Doing stuff in front of the referee. We just talked about this stuff, okay? And the referee's got to act like, oh, I didn't see nothing. No. If the referee is not enforcing the rules, why is he there? Or he or she there? Why is the official there? To count a fight. Then why don't we just have anybody do it and just have the match? Whatever. Okay, we kind of touched on this earlier. if you're going outside to climb the ropes, whatever, the referee should be counting because you're actually using the ropes. Or first of all, you're outside the ring if you're going to climb the ropes. Or in the case of Phenomenal Forum for AJ, he's standing on the apron. Or Ray's West Coast Pop or whatever. The referee should start to be counting the count when you're outside the ring.
Right.
Now you have a 10 count, or you have a 9 count to get back in, but you don't ever see the referee counting.
Yeah. If you do not get back in the ring by the 10 count, the referee has to call for that bell. If you get counted on 1, 2, 3 like that WrestleMania 3 match, if the referee doesn't see your shoulder come up, that's it. You got to count to 3.
Now I've read reports where we're talking old school here, so again, this kind of fits. Where a referee was working for one of the main promoters in the bookers and counted the guy out. That's supposed to be not part of the finish. Well, they got in the back and the wrestler's like, whatever, got in the face, and the booker's like, whoa, it's your job to get back in. The official's in doing his quote job.
He has to, because if the official's not officiating properly, then it undermines the whole thing.
Exactly. And, the referee, in this case, thought, oh, man, I'm going to get fired. No.
Because now that goes along with their cooperating with the thing, too.
Bingo.
Makes it even worse.
I don't have anything else written down, but again, this hurts me to say because Tommy Young, to me, is probably the best referee ever in wrestling history. We mentioned this before, but when he refereed Flair's title matches, Flair would get in Tommy Young's face, he'd push him, Tommy Young would push him back. Don't like that, because now you're beating the referee, but the referee should not be pushing back either. Should not happen.
That's true.
That should not happen. Well, that's all the things we have written down. Got anything else to add to this since we're kind of just rambling here?
No, not really. Just I feel like that there's some point where I guess just everyone does it all the time everywhere, and there's just not some people there. Maybe there are people there to tell them, but they're not listening, so it doesn't really matter, right? That there should be people there that someone will listen to it. I'll say, hey, don't do this, because it just makes the whole thing. People say wrestling's fake. That's why people say wrestling's fake. Not because they know it's predetermined and whatever. It's that someone's going to watch it that watches an NFL game or something and is going to say, this is hokey. Why is this guy sticking his hand out for the guy to grab him and throw him? It's obviously not a competition. Like I said, it's not like anyone watching, I don't know if General Hospital is even a thing anymore, but if it is that a hospital documentary? No, it's not. You're watching to be entertained. But again, within the confines of the rules that they have in place, you're not going to have an alien appear on General Hospital, right? You're not going to have a surgery on a dog on General Hospital. That they're going to stay within the context of those things that they're going to do. So that's all I'm saying. If you're not going to take a step back in everything you do before you do it ahead of time, your plans, you have to keep that in mind. And if you don't, then that's why what's your ratings nowadays? You're lucky if you get 1.5 million viewers on their top shows. And why is that? A lot of people used to watch. Even into the 90s, a lot of people watched. And I know there's a lot of things else, entertainment things on, but you know what? You're not giving the people what they want.
Just kind of thought of something we talked about last night. Scripts. Promos.
Oh, jeez.
Promos. Again, if you look back at the day, specifically, and me and Mr. X talk about this all the time, Crockett from 80 to say 87, probably the best wrestling and promos and everything else we've ever seen. They were given a basic layout saying, hey, talk about you're going to be fighting these guys in this town. All right, you got 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Go talk about it. Boom.
Right.
Now everything is scripted. All the promos are scripted. You can't go off script, or else it's gonna look hokey. And 99% of WWE wrestlers could not even talk without a script right now. Anyway, let's be real here. So, that was the biggest thing. That was the biggest thing I wanted to add to the end of this was the promos and the psychology. If you look at the crowd reaction back in the day,
Oh my gosh. I'm talking Norfolk Scopes and oh my gosh.
I mean, again, I hate to say it, but Crockett was the hotbed for this. If you look at the crowd reactions and even in the 60s and 70s, where the crowds were actually, for real, want to beat up the bad guys. They would stab them. They would actually shoot at them. They'd bring knives and stab them in the arenas. They would actually bring guns. And there's been a couple times where shots were fired at the ring. Luckily nobody got hit, none of the fans, but it's been documented. Ole Anderson was gutted like a stuffed pig all the way down by a guy with a knife. That's how much legit. But that means that the bad guys were doing their jobs to get this,
right,
to get the crowd so fired up that they weren't legit, wanted to beat them up, wanted to kill them.
Right. Well, they paid their money to see Wildfire beat them up, right? Or whoever it was.
Yes. Oh, Wildfire.
Oh, sorry, the Big Don. I've been corrected. Sorry.
You saw it. If you watch anything from just watch some of the old Starrcades, 83, 84, 85, 86, even 87 even, or any of the Crockett stuff online, on the network or on YouTube. Please do yourself a favor and watch, or even Georgia Championship Wrestling, or Mid-Atlantic, any of that. It is freaking awesome. But folks, I think we've taken some enough of your time. So I'm just going to say it one more time. Roll Tide. They got the Gators tonight. From the beer drinking time. Had a long day here. So from the SCF Studios, from Mr. X, this is Jim. Signing off.